The fact is on tonight. I think you're wrong about the mass deportations and going into families.
It'll be done in a very humane way, and they'll come back in, and they'll be legal, and people will be happy, and we'll have a country again.
That Q&A was 1 year ago. Now reports say Donald Trump may be revising his illegal immigration plan to deport millions of aliens. Mr. Trump will be here tonight.
If I'm elected president, this chaos and violence will end, and it will end very, very quickly.
But how will that be accomplished? Again, we will talk major domestic policy this evening with Donald Trump.
Are you offended when I ask you where are you from?
No.
Where are you from?
I'm from India. How about you?
Oh, I've been here for a while.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Also ahead, water's world causing trouble all over the USA. There's no question about it.
How long are you going to ride O'Reilly's coattails anyway?
As long as I need to.
Caution, you are about to enter the no spin zone. Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. What the Olympics say about the USA, that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. The final medal count in Rio shows how much America dominated the games. The USA winning 121 total medals. China next with 70. Great Britain 67. Russia 56. Germany and France both had 42. The games proving that this country remains a superpower not only in military matters, but also in athletics. Look, a pool is a pool. A track's a track. Doesn't matter how much money a country has. It doesn't matter what the social system is. Kenya, for example, dominates long-distance running, and that's a very poor place. The adage is skill gets you to the Olympic Games, but will makes you a champion. And that's very clear that American athletes have the will, the discipline, and the skill to dominate the sporting world. The best image for me was the sight of the American basketball team carrying our flags after winning the gold medal. The team was all minority, players showing pride in their country. When the national anthem was played, the guys had their hands on their hearts. No cheap shots at the country that had afforded them the opportunity to succeed at the highest level. So to me, the spirit of America is intact, despite the fact that zealots and loons on both political spectrums are trying to tear the USA down. If you believe the far left, we're a bigoted country that actively seeks to destroy young black men. The crazy left also puts out that we want to persecute innocent immigrants, that our economic system is rigged to help the wealthy, that our social system intentionally punishes the poor. All lies, but they are spread by politicians and dishonest media who actively despise their own country. Talking Points is expounded on Black Lives Matter. There's no need to do that again here, other than to say the leadership of that organization hates America. On the other side, there are far-right cranks, the David Duke folks, who refuse to recognize the struggles and achievements of minority Americans. These are hateful people who deserve all the scorn they get. But remember, the media will viciously attack anyone on the far right who offends them, while many far-left people like George Soros get a complete pass. That's why the true image of the USA is not portrayed throughout the world, while rank propaganda often is. However, the truth was put forth by our Olympic athletes, who performed magnificently and once again proved that America is a place of tremendous achievement. Yes, the swimmer Ryan Lochte and his friends displayed narcissism and deceit. But other than that, our athletes represented America in a very positive way. We are indeed a country of achievement, opportunity, and success. If you work hard and you work smart and you are honest, you can make it here, no matter who you are. And that's the memo. Now for the top story reaction, joining us from Washington, Charles Krauthammer. And you say?
Well, I agree what you said about the Olympic spirit. I agree what you said about the lies the left has told about America. But I'm not quite sure I see how one is connected with the other. Look, the reason that we dominate the medals is because we are, I think, the third most populous nation on earth. We are not the medal winner, the chief medal winner on a per capita basis. Well, there are a lot of Americans. We have a great sporting spirit. We have a great sporting history. We have a lot of great athletes. And as Ben Wattenberg once wrote, we are the only universal nation on earth, meaning we are composed uniquely, unlike any other country on earth, people from every region, every religion, every race, and they're all here, and each has their own specialties and all their excellence. I thrill at the Americans who win. I thrill also at the Kenyan who won the marathon. I mean, the idea that there's something different.
There is something different.
Between the American spirit and the spirit of the guy who won the marathon, explain it to me.
I will. We in America have the will to achieve in greater proportion than all the other countries, and that was proven on the battlefields of Europe in World War II, in the jungles in South Pacific in World War II, where we vanquished the evildoers. Our will did it. And that same spirit of achievement I saw in the Olympics. It's not that we're any better as people. It's that our culture, all right, is one of achievement, and that's still here despite the Bernie Sanders, everything's rigged, despite the media who hates the country because we're not socialist, despite the racial hustlers who put us down every time they can. The will of achievement is still here. That's my case. Last word.
Of course it's still here. The will of achievement is also in that Kenyan. The will of achievement was also with the British Army when it fought with us in Europe and in the Pacific and won the war. The idea that we are unique in having will, we are unique in having a wonderful sporting spirit and history and training. And I would add one more thing which is interesting. We're the only major sporting nation that does not have a Ministry of Sports. It's all done by the volunteering, by donation, and by people and kids who grow up and want to be excellent.
That's right. They want to be excellent.
It's not like if you're Chinese and you're 9 years old and they pick you out of a class and they make you do it for 10 years. Here it is an expression of the spirit of excellence, and that's okay. But, you know, let's not get a little too chauvinistic here. There are a lot of winners out there, and on a per capita basis, we were not the top.
But throughout the world, we are the top. We're the top nation to protect other nations, the top economy, and the top winner of
I'm not
Olympic
denying
medals.
any of that, but it has nothing to do with the Olympics.
We're almost. We don't have quite
Nothing to do
détente.
with the Olympics.
We're not. We don't have quite détente here, but it's two provocative points of view, and that's why we have you on.
You're trying to invent a segue, and I'm trying to show you that it doesn't really exist.
No, what I really tried to do was overwhelm you with my common sense, as I always do.
Yeah,
You're a little resistant to it, but that's all right. I mean, that's why everybody loves us. Charles Gradham, everybody. Next on the Rundown, Donald Trump will be here. Talk about whether he is changing his immigration vision. And later on, Miller and Waters back-to-back, upcoming. There are reports Donald Trump may be changing his immigration vision. As you may know, just about a year ago, he said on The Factor he would deport millions of illegal aliens in a humane way, quote, humane way. That, of course, would require spending billions of dollars, hiring a bevy of new federal agents, and enduring extensive court proceedings, as we debated back then. Joining us now from Akron, Ohio, is Donald Trump. So the media, as you know, running wild with this. Are you really rethinking your mass deportation strategy?
I just want to follow the law. What I'm doing is following the law. You know, this was put out. We had a great meeting over the weekend with Hispanics and leaders of the Hispanic community, and we discussed a lot of different things, and this was one of the many things that was discussed. And one of the groups, one of the media outlets that have gotten everything about me wrong, including the fact that I'd never run, and the reporter actually said he'd give up his salary if he did. I don't think I've ever held him to that. But one of these media outlets said that they had word from one of the people. It turned out to be false. false. In fact, the people all denied it, Bill, and I think you probably have seen that.
But I want to get on the record once again.
We had a great, well, let me explain to you. We had a great meeting with Hispanic leaders.
Yeah.
It was at Trump Tower, and it was very, very, I think it was very obvious what took place, because they came out and they said exactly what took place, but the media got it wrong. We're going to obey the existing laws. Now, the existing laws are very strong. The existing laws, the first thing we're going to do, if and when I win, is we're going to get rid of all of the bad ones. We got gang members, we have killers, we have a lot of bad people that have to get out of this country. We're going to get them out, and the police know who they are. They're known by law enforcement who they are. We don't do anything. They go around killing people and hurting people, and they're going to be out of this country so fast your head will spin. We have existing laws that allow you to do that. As far as everybody else, we're going to go through the process. What people don't know is that Obama got tremendous numbers of people out of the country. Bush, the same thing. Lots of people were brought out of the country with the existing laws. Well, I'm going to do the same thing, and I just said that.
Okay, but here's what everybody wants to know.
We want to do it in a very humane.
Okay.
We want to do it in a very humane manner.
You're going to have to go through the court system when you deport, as they have to do now. That means you're going to have to add federal judges. You're going to have to do a lot of things to make this thing efficient. Also, and here's the crux of the whole matter, and you know this, the actual seizure of human beings, taking them from their homes and putting them in a detention center so that their illegal alien status can be adjudicated. Do you see that it's something? You don't have to put them
in a detention center. Bill, you're the first one to mention detention center. You don't have to put them in a detention center.
All right, so you wouldn't do that. You'd keep them in their homes.
These people. No, I never said. I never even heard the term. I'm not going to put them in a detention center.
Well, you cited Dwight Eisenhower. Mr. Trump, you cited Dwight Eisenhower on this program.
It was in 1952.
Right.
Who, by the way, deported tremendous numbers.
Well, he rounded them up.
I mean, he did do that.
He took them out. And so when you cited him as an example of someone that you would emulate, that's what the conclusion is.
Yeah, I said that it's something that has been done in a very strong manner. I don't agree with that. I'm not talking about detention centers. I have very, very good relationships with a lot of people, a lot of Hispanic people. We're talking about it. We're going to get rid of the bad ones. The bad ones are going to be out of here fast. And you know there are plenty of bad ones. Gang members, gang leaders.
Sure,
you look at Los Angeles, you see what's happening.
Right.
They're going out fast. They're going to be out of here so fast your head will spin. As far as the rest, we're going to go through the process like they are now, perhaps with a lot more energy, and we're going to do it only through the system of laws.
Okay. Good. Now, I want to play you...
And by the way, Bill, that are in existence.
I know. I mean, they haven't enforced immigration law since Ronald Reagan in this country. Everybody knows that. Now, let's turn to violent crime. I want to play a short soundbite of what you said recently. Go.
The chaos and violence on our streets and the assault on law enforcement are really and truly an attack against all peaceful citizens. If I'm elected president, this chaos and violence will end, and it will end very, very quickly.
So, how? You have in Chicago a problem. Did you know that murders in Chicago are up 50% this year from last year?
I know it. I know it very well.
And they can't solve it. They can't solve it. State of Illinois, City of Chicago can't do it.
Well, you know why they can't solve it? Because I don't think they have the right people in charge.
So, all right. So specifically, how do you do it? How do you do it?
I know police in Chicago. If they were given the authority to do it, they would get it done.
How?
You have unbelievable. How? By being very much tougher than they are right now. They're right now not tough. I mean, I could tell you this very long and quite boring story, but when I was in Chicago, I got to meet a couple of very top police. I said, how do you stop this? How do you stop this? If you were put in charge to a specific person, do you think you could stop it? He said, Mr. Trump, I'd be able to stop it in 1 week. And I believed him 100%.
How? Did he tell you how he would be able to stop it in 1 week?
He wants to use tough police tactics.
But you have to have a warrant to arrest people. You can't beat them up. You have to have a warrant to arrest them. You have to have...
All I know is this. I went to a top police officer in Chicago who is not the police chief, and I could see by the way he was dealing with his people, he was a rough, tough guy. They respected him greatly. I said, how do you think you do it? He said, Mr. Trump, within 1 week, week, we could stop much of this.
But he didn't tell
horror
you
show that's
exactly
going on.
precisely how, because that's
No, and
what
I
we
didn't
wanna
ask him
know.
because I'm not the mayor of Chicago. But I tell you what, I sent his name in and I said, you probably should hire this guy because you have, you know the expression, you have nothing to lose? Look at what's going on in Chicago. It's horrible. This guy felt totally confident that he could stop it in a very short period of time.
So
it's a little bit
nationwide-
like we could win the war a lot quicker if we'd let our generals do the job properly. This was a man
But you have
who
to have a
is
strategy,
tough.
though. What I'm trying to get is you have to
Yeah,
have
well,
a strategy.
I'm sure he's got a strategy. I
Okay,
didn't
but
ask him a
you're going to be,
strategy. I just saw,
if you're president, you're going to have your strategy. So let's just take a very micro
okay.
issue. Attacks on police, all right? So they're rising because they're being, police officers in some places being demonized, and now unstable people,
people are being coddled.
Okay.
People
All right.
are being
So
coddled.
you're president. How are you going to stop attacks on police in the present climate?
Well, first of all, we need somebody that's going to be a cheerleader for the police to an extent. Right now, I just left the Akron police and some other people, and they are terrific people, and they feel like they're being left behind by our leadership. They're not being respected by our leadership, and they literally, they don't have spirit. They lose their spirit. Every time something happens,
All
it's
right,
the
so
police's fault. Look,
your tone is pro-police.
you have to have...
Well,
you
how
have
do you
give
stop
them
the
back
bad
their
guys from
spirit.
attacking them?
By giving them back your spirit and by allowing them to go and counterattack. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening. They're not respecting the police anymore, and the police are afraid to do anything. I've spoken to so many police. I mean, I've gotten to know them. I have endorsements from like almost everybody in terms of police and law enforcement. And I've spoken to so many, and they're afraid to do anything because they don't want to lose their job. They don't even want to talk to people anymore because they're afraid that something will happen. That'll be the end of their job, their pension, their family, the whole thing. They're petrified to act.
Are you going to make governors like Cuomo in your state of New York, are you going to change their minds about their liberal policies that do, and Mayor de Blasio in the city in which you live, that, you know, he almost encourages bad behavior toward police, that mayor? How are you ever going to change a Governor Cuomo or a Mayor de Blasio?
Well, first of all, de Blasio has been a terrible mayor. The police have no respect for him whatsoever. They dislike him tremendously. And in fact, for a period of time, a long period of time, and they'd like to do it again, they turn their back whenever he speaks. I mean, they literally turn a whole
But how are
police
you
force
going to
turns its
change
back
him
when
and
he
change
speaks.
policies?
They're going to have to change themselves. All I can do is from the top, I would be very, very strong in terms of being a cheerleader for the police. They do a great job, and they're not recognized for it. And when they do have a problem, when something happens, whether it's a road cop, which can happen, or whether somebody makes a mistake, it's on your show and every show for the next 2 weeks. It's very unfair. And I was saying the other day, they can do 200,000 great acts. 200,000. And one bad one, whether it's, again, bad or whether it's a mistake,
Sure.
who knows? And it's on the evening news for 2 weeks.
That's
they
an
don't
excellent
talk about
point.
the 200,000 good things.
The media has been derelict in that
Maybe
as
we
well.
have to let people know the good aspects of the police,
Okay.
which nobody wants to cover.
Now, we're going to have more with Mr. Trump in a moment. We're going to talk about his campaign and how it stands now. Then later, Miller on the African-American vote and Waters causing his usual trouble. Those reports after these messages. Donald Trump is in Akron, Ohio this evening. So your campaign has new leadership. Both Corey Lewandowski and Paul Manafort have left. How do you see the turnover? Do you think it matters to voters, or what's going on?
Well, I wanted to keep Paul as a chairman, but, you know, it was just something I felt we should do because that was really one event, if you think of it. But I ultimately decided, he's a good guy, but I ultimately decided I want to run the campaign the way I want to run the campaign. And, you know, we just had a poll come out, the Los Angeles Times, that has us 2 points ahead. We're very close in Ohio. We're right about even in Florida. I think we're doing very well. And don't forget, she's spending a fortune of money. And when people find out that she wants 550% more Syrian refugees to come pouring into our country, you know, speaking about law enforcement from your previous section, she wants 550% more Syrian refugees to come pouring in. I think a lot of people are going to stop thinking about her. I think it's ridiculous. Frankly, with the email scandal, I don't even know how she's able to run.
It's because people don't pay that close attention. But anyway, let's get back to your campaign staff. When you're president, if you win, you're going to have to put together a staff, all right, of people to advise you and help you run the nation. Now you've turned over two guys in less than 6 months. Now, would it be fair to say your judgment about those two men wasn't good? Would that be unfair?
Well, in the meantime, in my company, I have people for many, many years, and I've done that. I just wanted to make this change. I felt very comfortable with the people that I have. I've liked them for a long time, and I wanted to make this change for a while, and I made it. You know, we have like 3 months to go, and I wanted to make sure that it was something that I wanted. And I like these people. I've always felt comfortable, and I decided to do it.
Now, the debate is going to be everything. You know that, right? The polls now, whether the LA Times has you ahead by 10 or 2, or you're behind 85, or what, it doesn't matter. The first debate is going to be the Super Bowl of debates, all right? So you and Hillary Clinton, all right? And everybody's going to be watching. Even the pinheads who don't watch will hear about it, and they'll see it on the internet after the fact.
Right.
All right. You understand that this is make or break, right? The debate. It's make or break.
Well, I think it's going to be very important. I don't know if it's make or break, but I've done well in the debates. I had 17 people in the debates, and, you know, I'm the one that survived, and I've enjoyed the debating process. I never debated before professionally or as a politician, because I was never a politician before. But we had 11 debates that I participated in, and according to everybody, I did very well.
All right. Now, are you going to call her Crooked Hillary during the debate? I mean, are you going to do that, or are you going to keep it at a issue-based?
Well, I'm not going to say what I'm going to be doing, but I'll be doing what I'll be doing, and she's going to do what she's going to do, and we'll see what happens.
But you must be preparing, right? I'm sure you got people in your organization that are preparing. You're preparing now. You're going to have stacks of research, and there's got to be ways in which to go. I'm just trying to get the tone and what and of course that could change in 30 days. But the tone right now is: are you going to be the guy you were in the Republican? Boom, take no prisoners, or are you going to be a little bit more measured?
Well, I don't want to really say that. I'm not sure exactly which way I'm going to go, but I may be the way I was, and I may be a much different person. I can't tell you.
All right.
I don't think I'd tell you. You know what? If I knew, I don't think I'd tell you, frankly. But it'll be an interesting period of an hour and a half, I guess,
I can't
it's scheduled
wait.
for. And
I can't wait.
A pretty big audience, almost as big as the O'Reilly factor.
Well,
right?
you should
Not
have me
quite, but
moderate the debate. I mean, and then
okay with me.
It's gloves off.
I'll bet you'd be fair too.
I would.
As a fair moderator.
I'd be absolutely fair to both of you, as I have been in this campaign so far. My job is to let the folks see you and Secretary Clinton as best I can put you in focus, not to push any agenda and not to do anything. And you know that. You get mad at me sometimes. But that's my job. Last question for you. They have said that this has been the worst 2 weeks of your campaign, all right? And now you have the new management, and now you're doing things a little bit differently. Do you feel that the last 2 weeks, beginning pretty much with the Muslim family, were the worst part of the campaign?
I don't think so. I mean, they'd ask me a question, I give them an answer. Like, for instance, when I said that President Obama was the founder of ISIS and he's going to get the MVP award next week, and then they say, well, Mr. Trump knows he wasn't the founder of ISIS. You know, they take it and they dice it up and chop it up.
Sure.
And it's very unfair. No, I don't think so. I think I've done very well. I think, frankly, the media, and you know this because you cover it all the time, in the history of politics, there's never been a more hostile media than to Donald Trump. So they'll take a perfectly good statement that I make, dice it up, chop it up, and then cover it for 3 days solid on some of the other networks.
You may be right about that.
Not too much.
You may be right about that.
I think we did very well, and I think the last week, and I think you've seen this, I think the last week has been the best week that I've ever had from the beginning, and that starts with the primaries. And most people have said that the last week,
because you're doing the speeches now, and you're not calling anybody names. But you always keep this in mind: the media did not like Chester Arthur very much. So I don't think it's at the level of you, but Chet got hammered a little bit. All right, Mr. Trump, as always, thank you for your time. We appreciate you being accessible, and we're hoping Hillary Clinton will come on The Factor as well. Plenty more ahead as The Factor moves along this evening. Dennis Miller, some thoughts on the African-American vote and the controversy surrounding it. And Waters, churning the waters.
How many Teamsters does it take to pave a road?
37. You got a problem with that?
I don't. We hope you stay tuned for those reports. Campaign 2016 segment tonight. A new poll of Ohio voters by Monmouth University says that Hillary Clinton's now leading Donald Trump there, 43-39. And joining us now from St. Petersburg, Florida, Jessica Ehrlich, a Democrat, and from Washington, Katie Pavlich, registered independent, just like me. So your reaction to the interview with Trump, Katie?
Well, I think that he is clearly showing that he's narrowing down what he wants people to hear on the campaign trail. I really liked him talking about criminal aliens in this country rather than talking about the broad spectrum of illegal immigration. I also think that he's sending a message that he can actually send home a little more on that issue in the sense of rewarding people who want to come to this country legally, reforming the legal system so it's more streamlined, and then get to those who decide to break the law. Deporting criminal aliens in this country should be a priority. We spend $1.8 billion per year jailing and dealing with these people, so there's no excuse for that, and there's no reason they should be in the country. But the other thing, too, on that point is if you don't have border security, these people keep coming back. The Kate
Yeah, but there's no question that Trump will put the wall up if he's elected. So we don't have to get into that anymore. He's going to do that.
I think there is a question of that, actually, but we'll see.
I disagree 100%. Donald Trump will have to build that wall by executive order or any other means. You'll have to do that. Now, from your vantage point as a Democrat, Jessica, what jumped out at you in that interview?
Well, I think that he needs to start watching a little bit more O'Reilly factor, because he missed the memo that the biggest bête noire of going on for one of your debates is to have specificity. And I think over and over again, it was clear that Mr. Trump's policies lack any kind of specificity. He says, I spoke to this guy, I spoke to that guy, they're going to come in and do this, that, and the other thing. Yes, he is sharing the general outrage that voters feel in this country, but he's not giving any plans to fix it. He just says, I'll do it and I'll do it better. Well, you know, that's not necessarily how things work in Washington and when you're the president of the United States.
No, but he got him the nomination, did it not?
It did, but now we're facing a general election, and that is very different than just, you know, beating a field of 16 where the numbers were such that he was able to carve things out. But he's still very close to Hillary
Clinton, and despite all the gaffes, he's still very, very close to her with a lack of specificity. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think that his strategy is basically, look, I'm going to do the broad strokes, and that people are emotionally with me, I'll win. Do you think that's what's happening, Katie?
Well, look, it's not like Hillary Clinton has provided exact details of her plans either. I mean, every speech she gives, she spends at least half the time going after Donald Trump rather than talking about the details of
But she goes after him specifically.
Not necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
She paints him as a bad guy. She paints him as a bad guy, that kind of thing. But she doesn't look, all the details.
The negative campaigning against Trump, I think, is in the forefront of the Clinton campaign. Would that be accurate, Jessica?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of specificity there, and you know, certainly not only the specific things about Trump and his, you know, practices, things he said and done, does she get very specific about, but you know, her policy papers literally could fill a room. I think they're almost too voluminous for people to read.
I don't know. I look at her. That's why I want to talk to her, because I look at the policy papers, and there's a lot of Kennedy School of Government at Harvard stuff, which just will make your head blow off. Just tell me what you're going to do. All right, that's what I asked Trump tonight. Just tell me what you're going to do. Are you violent crime? Okay, what are you going to do? I'd like to put the same question to her. But she is more of a policy wonk than Donald Trump. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Giving Katie the last word, you go.
Well, I think it's important to take a look at the polling in swing states like Ohio. 8% of independents there are undecided. Hillary is only beating Trump by 4%. In Ohio, it's the same story in Pennsylvania, and yet she's the one who's been spending millions on ads, not Donald Trump. So this race is far from over. I think that we'll see the polls tighten before we get to November.
All right, ladies, good debate. Thank you. When we come right back, it will be Miller time. The African-American vote in a bizarre display by actor Dick Van Dyke. What would Laura say? Miller is next. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Miller Time segment tonight. Let's get right to the sage of Southern California, who joins us here in New York City.
Billy, I came in to see Hamilton.
Yes.
But then I hear George has a bad sunburn. He couldn't go on, so they're doing some sort of a historical musical.
Yeah,
or something.
it was
the way that happens. I never even saw Michael Crawford as Phantom.
It's Alexander, not George Hamilton.
Oh, I've been in Greece studying how to ride a dying economy.
Yeah, you were in Greece. All right, giving comfort to all the refugees.
Do a little work over there.
There's Miller. Hey, and then when you came back, you turned on Fox News. What happened?
It was just funny to me that there's split screens because Fox does the fair and balanced thing. Although I think there's some issues that aren't fair and balanced. Some things are just crazy, and I like calling them crazy. But they always give two people. And I noticed, like on the Republican side, Stuart Varney had somebody, and this morning Martha had somebody. They're always like kind of loose and smiling with their answers. Then they cut to the Dem operative. They're just wired for sound, and they're blinking like Pelosi in a sandstorm or something, you know, because they're selling this stuff about I know we've got to go, so I won't tell you.
All right. Now, there are two things I want to get to you with.
Yeah.
While you were away in Greece, Trump made a pitch to African American voters. Right. And you heard about it, and you think?
Well, I did. I have caught up. That's why I was watching Fox. I think that, Bill, the way this country lays out right now, 50% of the country thinks it's in trouble. Me. 50% think it's fine. So I know that it's always divided. I will say this, though. There seems to be unanimity in one voting contingent out there, and it is the African American vote. Will go 95% to Hillary Clinton. Now, I look at places like Detroit, Baltimore, Philly, New Orleans, parts of Chicago that are murderous. You can't even read about it on Monday, all under the helm of the Democratic Party. And I look at it and go, I don't get that. But we live in such a PC culture right now where you can be accused of taking somebody, appropriating one's culture. I'm not an African American person, obviously, but you got to say the proof's in the pudding. People are going to say you're racist for noticing that. 95% of the people in the African American community have been happy with the yield of the Great Society over a now tested 51-year period, and there is a 73% single parent rate. Now I look at that and go, check, I'm out. I'll go try something else.
There's not a lot of logic. It's all emotion. Now let's shift gears. Miller, you might not know, a big fan of Dick Van Dyke and anything.
Well, here we have a clip.
Chitty Bang Bang.
Well,
Dick Van Dyke.
Well, you get political correct. You got to watch that.
Yeah, but I said
that'll have a couple groups.
I said it well. Dick Van Dyke went to Denny's, and this happened.
Really?
Chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang. Oh, pretty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang. We love you, and pretty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang. What will do? Near, far, in a motor car, oh, what time we'll spend. Bang bang, chitty bang bang. I'll find my friend, my friend. Bang bang, chitty bang bang. I'll find my friend, my friend.
All right, that was impressive at Denny's, right? The super breakfast and Dick Van Dyke?
Yeah, imagine you're stoned out of your mind coming in for some hash.
Hash browns.
Yeah,
hash browns.
You look over, isn't that the guy who tripped in the Ottoman? What's he doing?
And he's 90.
And
he's 90.
Here's the most ironic part, Bill. Right. You know who's replacing George Hamilton in that thing tonight? Jerry Van Dyke.
Jerry Van Dyke. All right. Dennis Miller, everybody. There he is, just back from Greece. Waters on deck. Do you guys understand how much chaos Waters is causing all over the USA? Do you understand it? They're going to prove it to you in just a few moments as the Factor continues all. Back at the book segment tonight, Waters' World, as you may know, our intrepid correspondent, now very famous, mainly because he causes trouble all over the place. Don't believe me? Take a look at these highlights from Waters.
I personally love to have a glass of wine and a couple tokes of a J, and that puts me in a really nice place for the evening. But
a J is a joint, right?
A J is a joint, exactly.
Did you get a contact high already, Jeff?
What do you feel like right now?
I feel very calm.
Is that a joint, man?
You don't have the munchies?
I don't. Do you?
What are the munchies? So this is a marijuana cigarette? And you smoke it through the filter. Yeah?
I won't go schizo, will I?
Stop laughing, man. Some donuts. Potter's World donut going down the hatch.
That boy is a P.I.G. pig.
Now, if a man says to a woman, "I love your shoes," do you find that offensive?
Not at all. Yeah, I think that could really be taken as a microaggression.
I really admire your shoes.
Now, if I tell a woman, "Oh, I love your shoes,"
it's fine, I think.
Do you have a foot fetish?
Yes.
Right.
Don't women like compliments?
They should, unless they're crazy. A lot of them are.
If you see someone and you say, "Oh, where are you from?"
That's just something that is really disproportionately targeting people and trying to pigeonhole them in a certain way.
It might hurt someone's feelings, make them feel like they don't belong in the area, so it might be a bit hurtful to them.
Are you offended when I ask you, where are you from?
No.
Where are you from?
I'm from India. How about you?
Oh, I've been here for a while.
I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
Do you have a problem with Christmas break?
Yeah, Christmas.
Oh! You're gonna get coal in your stocking.
Ho, ho, ho.
I think that hat might be a microaggression.
I don't care. Doesn't bother me.
I want you to say in Indian, "I'm Waters and this is my world."
Road work is causing traffic delays.
Not a pretty sight, very heavy delays.
How many Teamsters does it take to pave a road?
37. You got a problem with that?
You got trouble right here, bub.
You think I'm cut out for this line of work?
That'd probably make you get coffee and stuff.
I hit you for a drink. I thought you said that you were all right, Spider.
If you guys need any help with anything on the site, you let me know.
You got it? It's a man's job.
You're a man, aren't you? Aren't you?
Yeah, what do I have to do?
Work hard.
I'm out.
Yeah.
What union are you in?
Local 40, the iron workers.
Iron workers? Yeah, I work with a lot of iron on the golf course.
Stand clear, boy, and keep your eye on the ball.
Is this where you guys bury the bodies?
You could put 3 bodies in there.
How long are you going to ride O'Reilly's coattails anyway?
As long as I need to. How do I look?
Pretty good.
That looks amazing on you.
Can I do the Waters thing?
Yeah, you ready?
And your Waters. And this is your world.
Does that sound good?
I'm Waters.
Who?
And this is my world.
I know you are. But what am I?
All right, Waters on vacation. So that's why we did that. In a moment, factor tip of the day. A bumper sticker not flattering to me. The tip, moments away. Factor tip of the day, an anti-factor bumper sticker. In a moment, where do you see this? But first, 3 weeks from tomorrow, Killing the Rising Sun will hit the marketplace. Advance order is very strong, more than 1 million copies first run. And if you pre-order the book on BillO'Reilly.com, you'll get it first. Also, if you become a BillO'Reilly.com premium member, you'll get it free. So it's a great time to sign up or re-up and continue getting our inside coverage of the presidential campaign on your daily newscast, the No Spin News, just for PMs. Now, Killing the Rising Sun is written in the same style as Killing Patton. It's about the last 6 months of World War II in the Pacific. Big atom bomb component in the book, stuff you'll never have heard. And I think you'll like it. Now the mail. Kathy O'Toole, Carrollton, Texas. O'Reilly, your guest, who said she was offended by Ellen tweeting a cute picture of her riding on the back of Mr. Bolt, is part of the problem. He liked the picture, knowing it was a compliment with no racist intent. Elizabeth Herr, Millersville, Pennsylvania. O'Reilly, thank you for pointing out that many of us are disgusted with the phony political correctness. Your guest hurt her own cause. Greg Peters, Trinidad, Tobago. I retweeted Ellen's picture and pointed out how unfair it is to accuse her of racism. A few people accuse me of low intelligence. PC has invaded my country. Vincent Curtis, Hamilton, Canada. Bill, you are wrong to criticize France for wanting to ban Muslim women from covering up while swimming. The burkini is not part of French culture, but the bikini is. The French are entitled to decide for themselves what's appropriate. It's the bikini or nothing. Let me get this straight, Vince. According to you, all ladies swimming in French waters should be required to wear bikinis or nothing. Is that what you're saying? Good grief, man. Are you related to Hefner? Gene Walker, Huntley, Illinois. The report from Jesse Waters at the new Ground Zero shopping mall was his finest hour. He did not make fun of those he interviewed. For once, I could begin to like him if he kept this up. I wouldn't count on that, Gene, but we'll see. Sharon Newpower, Charlotte, North Carolina, recently received my free gift, becoming a BillO'Reilly.com premium member. The pen and mug are high quality, and knowing you give your profits to charity makes my satisfaction even sweeter. Well, I appreciate that, Sharon. Welcome aboard. Sumiko Post, Hawthorne, California. Love Legends and Lies, The Real West, and the Patriots. What's next? Legends and Lies, The Civil War. Sumiko, we're shooting it now for next spring. The Legends and Lies Patriots book, still going great, still smoking. We hope you check it out. Finally, the factor tip of the day. There is a bumper sticker being sold. It's very curious. It says, "You keep your Bill O'Reilly, I'll keep my Bill O'Rights." How delightful. Cost 40 cents, appropriate, considering the accuracy of the message. Come on. Also, they may be keeping the price low for all you Bernie Sanders fans out there. Now, the bumper sticker comes out of a far-left outfit in Minneapolis, and I really don't understand it. I'm all for the Bill of Rights, as everybody knows, and one of our most cherished freedoms is that folks have a right to be morons, which this bumper sticker company has truly embraced. Factor tip of the day. And that is it for us tonight. Please check out the Fox News Factor website, different from BillO'Reilly.com. Also, we'd like you to spout off about the Factor anywhere in the world. O'Reilly at FoxNews.com, O'Reilly at FoxNews.com, name and town. If you wish to opine, word of the day, no bathos. Writing to the Factor. And tomorrow, a special report on what celebrities are tweeting about Donald Trump. Man. Again, thanks for watching us tonight. I am Bill O'Reilly, and please always remember that the spin stops here. We're definitely looking out for you.